in San Diego. We are here again. Tammy Kay and I back at you. Media Day. We are doing another wonderfully informative podcast under contract. What sorts of contracts have you made with yourself lately, Tam?
To take better care of myself, mostly, to exercise, work out and put better food in my body thanks to you.
Well, I'm like an eating machine. I mean, I eat, I think, almost too much, but it's interesting because when we do our podcast with the guests that we have, my mind always goes to a different space where we think about under contract, right? And again, in the literal sense for real estate, we all know that under contract is the words that we love to hear. But I think lately with the world changing so much, your health issues, my health issues, the world as it is, as we know it, there's so many different contracts that we're making with ourselves. And I think the one gift that we can give ourselves is health. And with that, could be emotional, spiritual, mental, financial, whatever it is, right? We just need to do it. So we're here. Today we're in Bankers Hill, and you ask, why are we always in Bankers Hill? Why not? It's like one of the best neighborhoods in San Diego, aside from, where we live, downtown. So the backdrop is Bankers Hill, and today we have another wonderful guest. She's been on the podcast before. We spoke everything escrow previously by Zoom, but today she is gracing us with her presence. She is from Orange County, and she is with River Escrow, our beautiful, beautiful cohort, Jennifer Flannery. She makes it happen on the back end when it comes to a transaction, facilitating smoothly. And we spoke last time everything escrow and the importance of escrow. And today we are talking about...
Well, things are turning a little bit in the market. So there's a few things that have changed. And we're going to talk about when something falls out of escrow, the importance of being in contact with your client, knowing what's happening. And we're going to let you do all the talking on this one so that you can let us know what our clients need to know for future, because like I said, the market is changing and things are falling out of escrow.
And the importance of the agent relationship, not only in the transaction because of the transaction, but the communication lines are, I can't stress this enough that, when you as an agent open escrow, whether you're on the sale or buy side, you're the quarterback. You're running the transaction with your TC, with everybody else, with escrow, with the lender. You're basically saying, okay, here we are, gang, make the introduction, escrow, title, everybody, all the powers that be. You're kind of spearheading this whole experience. So the communication is so important between the agent and escrow. So walk us through a little bit about what Tammy just addressed in terms of the market changing, the dynamics, et cetera, and the importance of all of that during the transaction.
Yes.
And welcome back, by the way.
Thank you so much for having me back. I love being down in San Diego. I just love it. So for one, you're both absolutely correct about communication is key. And being in real estate for as long as we all have, how long have we always heard that? Communication is key. Communication is success. Not to have communication causes problems. At the end of the day. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to do that, or I didn't know that paperwork had to be turned in with 3 to 5 days. I didn't know can be a cause of a closing. Mm-hmm. And besides under contract, our other favorite word is confirmed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
we love that word.
We love that word. And I love calling with that. Yes. You're confirmed. You get to go and you get to tell your clients, welcome to your new home. And they are just so excited. And what happened in that escrow when you get to, we are confirmed, right? There's so much going on in everyone's lives that it's so important. And you guys as agents, they trust you with the most important decision. They're trusting you. They picked you out of several agents. Right. So that goes to show you they just trust you. Mm-hmm. And it's so important to have such a I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the word hard, but such a unit of people working together on the team, because you need to feel comfortable with your people at escrow. You need to say, Jennifer, this family is going through a tragedy, or this family is going through this, or this family is going through hardship, divorce, whatever it may be. So the communication that you guys have with us can make or break the situation with your clients, because only you, as their agent, know what's going on in their life. By the time it gets to us, they've had to go through a loan process, maybe, staging, possibly.
Written 50 offers and they haven't been accepted. So communicating to you what was happening during the looking at the house phase or the selling phase is very important, that communication.
Absolutely.
Letting you know what's going on in their life, basically.
Absolutely. And how many homes did they lose on the way to getting this next home that's going into escrow?
Right.
And let's face it, a lot of these purchases are not even really, they're sold off market right now.
Right.
So buyers are not even having the experience to say, hey, I want to see all these homes because the way the inventory is right now.
Yeah.
So when they get into escrow, if we can have just a little bit of information, sometimes there's nothing really to say, hey, they are the greatest people. They just got married, whatever the case. They're upgrading because they're just having a baby.
Right.
Not everything has to be a tragedy, but everything does have to be within communication, no matter what it is. It's just so important. And it's important that your clients feel that they feel they're important.
Right.
I had a transaction recently. It was a cash deal where I represented both sides, and I represented the seller. And previous to us hitting the market, she had lost her spouse in January, which we hit the market in March or April of this year, and her spouse handled all of the finances, handled everything regarding the home. And she, upon her passing, obviously took on all of that responsibility, but didn't have any idea as to the condition of their finances.
How overwhelming is that?
And once we hit the market, the PR popped up 17 liens, right? So obviously we had our work cut out for us. And in that process, she became overwhelmed and extremely frustrated and extremely disenchanted with the process, because she's like, hold on a second. What do you mean there's a solar lien? What do you mean there's a tax lien? What do you mean there's an SCG&E? What do you mean? My wife took care of all of this. I thought this was handled. So in this discovery phase, the PR and the importance of it in my world at that particular moment became so obvious of the significance of the PR and what can pop up to kind of navigate those problems before you go to market, if you can, which is what we're doing on one right now. But in this during this process, not only did all these liens pop up, but we managed to handle all of them. We were a little delayed in the closing, but we got them handled. And out of her proceeds, she was able to take care of some of that so that she can start fresh and literally move on to the next chapter of her life with a clean slate. But had I not known that information, and had I not communicated with escrow, by the way, her spouse just passed, it changed everything.
And by the way, there's 17 liens.
Yeah.
And I mean, it completely changed her attitude, which I don't blame her.
Yeah, it completely changed.
Yeah.
So to walk us through, obviously that's a little bit on the extreme side, and I'm sure you've seen other situations.
And it happens more often than you may think, and that's why I always suggest, and we talked about this on the last podcast, is to open a pre-escrow and let us start working on these things for you and for your poor clients. I mean, obviously she was completely sideswiped, and let's face it, I mean, the paperwork of the transaction is just horrific to some people that really don't even, their spouse takes care of everything. Right. And then to walk into something so overwhelming, not only with just the selling of their home, but all the other things that just got thrown at this person. Mm-hmm. So if we have that extra month or so, it makes things so much easier for everybody. Yeah. For everybody. And the panic of getting it closed, like maybe it's a 30-day escrow. I wasn't sure of what your time frame was. But if we have that extra time, it doesn't feel like they're in the pressure cooker, if you will. Right. Like, this has to close. We need this. We need that. Is it in a trust? How many people are in the trust? Right. Where are they? Where's your paperwork? That is so... Where is your paperwork?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So many people don't even know where their paperwork is.
Well, and I say this, I've said this many times, we have to remember that we do this on a daily basis.
Right.
and our clients don't. And I think sometimes we forget that.
Yeah.
So we have to remember that we're the professionals. We know all this. They don't.
And that's why they go to you.
Exactly.
Because you're
Right.
doing this and they need to trust you.
Right.
And they do, you know, so that's what's so great about this business, isn't it? Connecting with people.
Absolutely.
I personally love people.
Yeah.
And I love homes. I love architects. I love everything to do with buildings. I love coming downtown San Diego and seeing such the different vibe than in Orange County. So it's just the best job in the world to have and to make people happy at the end of the day. Oh, look, I'm getting a little tear. Or, you know, like just getting to know the other side, you know? I
Right.
have clients that we've put into escrow and now they're having their grandparents.
Yeah. Right.
So the circle of giving and accepting and helping in this transaction of the real estate world is just more than an agent.
Correct.
And the seller and the buyer.
Which is
Relationship.
Relationship business. It always will be a
important,
relationship
and I
business.
feel like, especially in this climate, a lot of agents have taken that for granted because things have been either really easy for some agents, what I like to call gimmies, when they're just handed and they don't take it with a true at heart interest. With us, it doesn't matter whether it's a gimme or otherwise. We hustle just as hard as if it weren't, because for us, it's about the advocacy. Right. It's about the advocacy aspect of real estate that is by far so important, because with that, you fight hard for your clients. With that, you have that relationship. And with that, down the line, a referral will come out of that. Correct. And we don't do things because of the referrals. Yes, they're nice, and that's the highest compliment we'll ever get. However, it is about the impression. How far are you willing to go for your client? And with that comes having a trusted team of escrow officers. Right. With that comes title, who will get the stuff done when it needs to be done. With that comes a lender who will pull their weight. Everybody has an intricate part in this process, because without the communication between the agents, whether you're on the sales side or the buy side, we have to work together. Mm-hmm. And they fail to remember that we're on the same side, because we want to get this done for our clients. You have a lot to do with it. Everybody else has a lot to do with it, but we all have to be on the same team.
We have the same goal,
Yeah.
and the goal is to get the transaction closed.
Right.
And with things turning, actually this morning at Caravan, I was speaking to another agent, and I've ridden this ride. I mean, I've been in the business for 18 years, and we were talking about the fact that these agents aren't going to know what to do when they actually have to sit on a listing for 30 days. Mm-hmm. And it has, you know, they have to market it. They have to do all this stuff that they haven't had to do in the market that we've been in recently. Right. So things are going to change, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of that.
Oh, Tammy, that's such a great point.
Yeah.
Because we know that we've all been in this cycle before.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right when when that agent, you know, who, you know, have been able to sell a home in 15 days with multiple offers, that might be coming up to a change.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so being said is, not only do I help just in the escrow transaction, I've been doing this so long as well, that door knocking, door dropping, that's all coming back hard.
Absolutely.
Hard. And so I love it because I get exercise, I get to be outside of the office, and I love, again, talking to people. So when you really have to get out there and pave those streets and find that house, because you just sold one, now they need a place to go. Right. So you're really just door knocking, pounding the pavements, calling, and I love to help with those things too. Yeah. So it's a group effort. I mean, majority of it is you as the agents, because you're the professionals, but I don't mind going out there and knocking on a door or dropping a notepad or, hey, you know, this is what someone may be looking. Are you interested? Yeah. So it's on every level service. Yeah. You know, it's not even so much getting it into escrow. It's everything before escrow.
And you want them to have a pleasant experience. And I say this over and over again, whether it's your first or your fifth house, it doesn't matter. You want it to be an experience that is, you know, because it's a huge decision. That and getting married, those are the two biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life, right? the home buying process, home selling, whatever it is you're doing, there is a person on each side of that transaction that has a story to tell. And we as agents, that's our job to figure out what brought you here. Why are you selling? Why are you buying? Which is why with our series Moving On, we take a totally different approach to real estate because we're more about the story behind why are you here selling or buying today? What's making so that we have that information so that when we do get to escrow, by the way, this is what's happening. They're moving because X, Y, and Z. They're buying because of A, B, C, D, and E, right? So that is, I think, a step that a lot of agents, and I could be wrong, don't make because they're all about, okay, I just got a listing. Okay, oh my God, my buyer's offer's been accepted. Okay, great. Well, that's wonderful. Do you know who your clients are? Do you know what's going on? Because that tidbit of information conveyed to you as an escrow officer will be huge during this transaction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The information that you provide to us, and let's just explain what escrow is. We are the third party. Yeah. We work for you, the agent. We work for the lender. We work for your client, your buyer, your seller, home inspection, everything, termite. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, we're talking to everybody. Yeah. You know, we are the trained, we're going down. We are looking eyes on the prize, closing. We are going to get this together. So with communication, how many times have people have called and said to you guys, you ladies, you know what, my wife or my husband, they're not sure.
Yeah.
And it's an escrow.
Right.
And you're like, wait, what?
And contingencies have
Wait,
been
what do you
removed.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean? We've already removed loan. What are you talking about?
Right?
Oh, okay, great. Yes.
Yeah. Things fall out of escrow. Even in a beautiful setting, something can take a turn. And, you know, so with communication is key. It always has been in this industry. I think just in life in general, your partners, whatever the case, your children, it's just the key to success. And you have to have that connection with the other side that you can just say, this is going down. Yeah. You need to help me.
Yeah. What can
you
we do?
tell me what to do?
Right.
Problem solvers.
What do you need? How can I fix this? We're about solutions.
Yeah.
We want to help you. We want this to go right for everyone. But some people they don't communicate like the bare truth of just tell me just tell me, you know, like you don't need to tiptoe around anything. That's going to waste time. Let's just get to it. You know, come on, let's just knock this out of the park, and we will.
What can we do as agents to make your job easier? Yeah. That's a good one.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Besides not call you every 5 seconds.
That's not that big a deal, honestly.
Oh, no, I'm the worst when it comes. I'm like, okay, what's going on with this?
Well, that's okay. It's always fun, right? And hey, look, they're quick conversations.
They're totally quick, but just get to the point.
You just need an answer, and then you're off the phone.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Okay,
it's
done.
all
All right,
good.
girl. Yeah.
You know. So with that's all fine. What we can do, what as agents can do to make escrow's life better for the escrow, for the process. One is, the most important is the beginning package. When we send that initial paperwork, and we have a program that's called Client Bridge. So Client Bridge is a beautiful thing. You open it through Client Bridge, we get the pre-escrow going, and when that package comes out, that big SI comes out, a lot of it's already filled out for them. Right. And it's not so overwhelming. Right. So, and on other paperwork, it's also auto-filled for them. That's huge. People see that package, that first opening package, and they're so overwhelmed. It's a contract. It's just everything in real estate. So that is the most important part. And like I said in the last podcast, I will personally go and sit with your clients on that opening package. Some people just need that support. Like, what is this? You know, why do I have to sign this grant deed? I haven't even sold my house. I don't even know what this is. Why am I giving this away? Right. And it's being notarized. Right. You know, it's confusing. So to have that one-on-one, I'm more than happy to do that. I think it's so crucially important that they feel comfortable. So I think the initial paperwork is so important. Now, especially with HOA, you got to get that in so many days. Right. And then if you want to get an extent, or you need to rush it, who knows how much that fee could go up to, like $1,000.
Yeah, I've had clients pay over $1,000, and there are certain HOA, the companies that provide the docs that will not do a rush.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very important when you're writing those offers to close in 15 days, and you probably won't get those. I mean, yeah.
So that is so important. Plus, when you need those HOAs, you have to give them the authorization form.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A lot of people don't want to put their personal information on a
Right.
piece of paper anymore.
Right, that's true.
So, that is the hardest part. Once we get that package back, it's pretty easy. They're in the game. They're feeling it. They're seeing the ending. So, but that is truly the most important. If you have that would be awesome if everything could be 15-day closing, right? But if it is a 15-day closing, can you imagine we don't even get the paperwork for 12 days?
Right. No, I know. It's.
I have literally drove to houses. I'm like, I need to pick up your opening.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we call them. We're like, look, we need this package,
Right.
and I'm coming
It's
to get
important.
it. You know,
Right.
I mean, seriously, we had to just close the deal, and we needed the death certificate of this man, and they were from Egypt. He was, and they needed that. They were all going back to Egypt. They needed that death certificate to go back to Egypt. There was one copy, and they were leaving in like 4 days. I just.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Look at. I get the chills. I
Wow.
literally went to the title company the day of closing and waited in their office till it was done and delivered the death certificate back to the family. So in a few days after that, they could go back to Egypt.
Wow.
And that's what it takes sometimes.
And you have to go the extra mile. And in
You
our
do.
business, and this is something that we learned before we even became licensed, time is of the essence.
It is.
Yes.
It's,
It
I mean,
really
you
is.
can't say
Yeah.
that enough, and you
No.
cannot. When with everything in real estate, the time is of the essence. And again, Tammy mentioned it perfectly earlier. We forget that we do real estate every day. So terms like PR, the contingencies, addendums, or ED, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Don't abbreviate it because they don't know what that is.
We take for granted,
Yeah.
right, that time is of the essence when it comes to everything in real estate. And when you have a brand new buyer that's just completely green, you have to also educate. You have to be the mediator. You're the negotiator. You're all these different hats. So it's super important that, yes, you're right. Those little components are so important to ensure success. I want to touch upon something real quickly because we're dealing with this right now, and we're communicating effectively with our clients. It's a coming soon that we have. 3 things popped up on the PR. Grant deed needed to be paid off. The HOA needed to be paid off, and there's a lien on a credit card, like a judgment. They have taken care of the
I'm
HOA.
going to interrupt you really quick. I've got to run.
You're out.
I got to show some property.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Sorry to interrupt you.
It's all good. So some items popped up in which they have taken care of the judgment, which is the credit card judgment, and the HOA lien. Now, they're supposedly the lender is handling the grant deed that needs to be paid off. Should they? And I, at my instruction, I had PR pulled before we even hit the market, so that if anything did pop up, let's handle it now. So now that we're in the stage of pretty much getting all of that behind us, in order to calm the seller's mind and heart and soul, do you suggest, or is it common that we continue to get that buttoned up before we go hit the market? Or is it okay to hit the market knowing we're getting that done in terms of the seller being at peace and in terms of it being successfully smooth during this process?
I would definitely talk to the lender who's handling it and take his advice if he's feeling a struggle with it, which those things are easy to handle once you know they're need to be handled.
Right.
So yes, I would say it is safe to move forward.
Okay. So having said that, obviously because time is of the essence,
Right.
Every seller
and again, don't have this come back and haunt me.
No. What I'm saying is, like any other seller out there, if they were on the fence about listing their home, they are now seeing rates are going up. Historically speaking, they are still low, but rates are going up. So if they're going to list their home, time is of the essence.
It is now.
Right? So I have 3 of these coming soon where we're cleaning up some PR stuff, and that's because I don't want any hiccups during escrow. Right? So I'm taking that extra step to make sure things don't pop up that we can avoid right now. So that my point in asking this, because it is something that most sellers I think contend with, and that is it really a good time for me? Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it is.
It is.
And if you're cleaning up
Absolutely.
the PR issues and whatnot, let's do it now.
Yes.
Right? That would be my direction.
Absolutely.
Let's do it now.
100%.
Right? Open up that package. Let's go. Right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. And I remember speaking with, and I'm sure you hear this as well, the 2008 recession
Right.
was all about real estate. That was all because of real estate. Okay? Fast forward to now, this recession that we're in is not because of real estate. In fact, the real estate market is sustaining
Yes.
the economy right now, right? Because at one point, and I don't know how long ago it was, money was free. Do you remember we went
Yes.
0% interest for crying out loud? But where we are now is still considered a seller's market, and buyers are seizing the opportunity. I set up a listing property search the other day. I think the max budget was $800,000. 198 properties popped up.
Wow.
198 properties. So that tells me there are 198 sellers out there that are taking that chance now and putting their homes on the market. But in order for this part of what we do to be successful, obviously the communication is key between the agent and the escrow team. Everybody again, you're the quarterback. The agent's a quarterback. What would you say at the 11th hour that you've gone through recently has caused you to stop and go, oh my gosh, why are we just now seeing this? Why is just now popping up? And how do you navigate around that? Obviously, we have to draft an extension of time because obviously it's not going to happen in 21 days. It might need 10 more.
Things are sitting.
Right.
A lot longer.
Right. So what would you encourage agents out there? And I know this firsthand because I've worked with you. You guys were flawless for sure, which is why you're my go-to. But what if there's an agent out there that you're working with on the first time on the buy side, and you know that you can already see something's going to present itself, and how would you, or what would you suggest that agent or any agent come prepared? How can they come better
On the
prepared?
the buy side really honestly for me is, I don't want to say more important, but it is because they're not used to working with us, a lot of them.
Right.
And that's how we connected.
Right.
You were on the buy side of one of my great agents. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to make sure that they feel so confident as if they were the listing agent and they got to choose their team member. Right. So that's hugely important. I think in some areas in this transaction where I'm not directing this to really any individual that I know, but I know that there is a thought process when you are the buying agent on an escrow. You'll never talk to them again. You'll never see a deal from them and this and that. I'm living proof that is absolutely not true. Mm-hmm. The buying agent is just as important because they need to know that they're in good hands with their client. So with the buying agent coming into an escrow that they don't know, me, right, the introduction is key. Yeah. I need to call them. I need to let them know, how do you want me to communicate with you? Right. Would you rather have a text? Texting's huge right now. Yeah. I got the EMD in. Great. Thank you. Super easy. Some people just want email. Right. Some people want a phone call. Right. So that, again, going back to communication, calling that buying agent, introducing myself, how do you work? I want to, step in, take the reins, how you want to be. So I feel comfort for them and their clients that the process will go smoothly because buying agents, there's some of my most just loyal, great agents that I've had for 13 plus years were buying agents.
Yes. Let's just keep it real. Buying agents have to hustle their asses off.
Oh my gosh.
They have to work their asses off.
Right?
So when you have an agent that's on the other side that is a hustler, that just makes you realize, okay, this is going to go good.
This is going to go great.
Because we do, and I've done both sides. And I'll be honest, I prefer the buy side because you do have to work harder and you learn something different every time. Yes. Because as a listing agent, you're, okay, let's go. I'm listening. I represent the client on this. All right, let's go. Do your due diligence. Let's go. But on the buy side, you're just like, okay, this, and this popped up. I got to handle this now. I got to handle this. So you're really, really hustling your ass off.
You are.
To get that done in a
truly
timely
are.
fashion, and to keep the trust and faith of your client, and to make sure escrow and everybody is educated and on the same page. So you're really navigating through a lot. And I will be honest, and we've talked about this before, there have been many occasions where I've run both sides of the transaction. And it's like, wait a minute, you are, what? How is this happening? So it happens, but I prefer the buy side for sure, for sure. I always love having you come on because you provide such cool tidbits from a different perspective that really makes us as real estate agents so grateful for a great escrow team. And I know that you've been doing this for many, many years. So you obviously you're a wealth of knowledge and information. And I just appreciate you so much. And I'm grateful for you coming on. And we're going to have you as a regular. We're going to figure out different parts of escrow or otherwise that we can talk about as we kind of plod along the market as it's changing. But one final question for you. What are your thoughts about the shift that is taking place?
Oh, with Tammy Dean. Well, I think it's necessary.
Yeah.
I do. I think that sellers need to live in a reality of pricing right now. We got spoiled there for a short time, and I feel for everyone listing a home right now because they want to know why they're not getting that extra 20 to 80,000 over. So it's just coming to a point where it needs to correct itself.
It can't sustain itself at this level. It can't.
So this may sound a little crazy, but I think it's positive.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we should be excited about, that everything's not going to be derailed, and multiple offers is outstanding. But what was going on was just, it was just, The Exorcist. You're just like spinning and spinning.
Insanity is what it was, yeah.
So, it's just not reality.
It's interesting. You made a really valid point there. And this really falls back on the listing agent educating their client when they take that listing about, okay, yes, here's where the market has been. Right. Here's where it was. Here's where it is today and why. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to pricing your home to sell, yes, price it to sell, which creates a bidding war 9 times out of 10, or a value range, whatever it is you decide to do. But it really falls back on the listing agent doing their job and educating themselves and educating their clients, because we have a fiduciary responsibility to our clients. And in that educational process also comes the reality check of the appraisal. And that is such a subjective part of this whole process that unless it's a cash offer, then it doesn't matter. But that appraisal, you have to explain to the seller that this is where we are. We are priced at X, we're under contract at X, but it might come back under X, and here's why. Because it's subjective, and it's all based on the market value and the comps in the neighborhood, period. It has nothing to do with what you think the value of the home is. It has nothing to do with what I think the value of it is. This little guy right here has all the power in terms of that. So as listing agents, we need to be sure to educate our clients.
Absolutely.
We have to.
And you know what, with you, a good point you mentioned is educating, know your market, know your neighborhood, know it. Because when a seller's, obviously, they feel that their house is worth this. It's an emotional attachment.
Pride of ownership.
And you have to be professional and strong enough to say,
Totally. And I'm dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I get it. And you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. However, this is the reality of the situation. Based on what has sold in your neighborhood the last 6 months and where we are and what it can be, I have to give you the 3 scenarios in which this will all transpire. You have to, that listing agent has to take that extra step. And that I don't feel like has been happening. Case in point, there's a property up the street, it's been on the market for 31 days. There's no reason it should be on the market for 31 days. They priced it out the gate at 1.798. There's no reason they should have done that. They used a comp down the street that is worth 1.798. That home isn't. It's been sitting for 31 days. They've had 5 open houses. There is no reason that should be happening.
And how frustrating for the seller.
That's my point. Your listing agent needs to do their job. So I'm not going to get on a horse thing right here. I'm just going to say it makes your life as an escrow officer even that much more enjoyable when you have an agent on both sides that takes the extra time, communicate, do your part. Everybody's in this together. We all want to get this done for our clients.
Absolutely.
Jennifer, I always love having you as a guest.
Always love
We're
being
going to
here.
have to commiserate on some other topics that we can talk about because I love talking with you. You always bring a wealth of knowledge. I thank you for coming down. And as always, San Diego, any questions you might have, real estate related, escrow related, Jennifer's information will be down below. She's always welcome here in my world. Plus, I love orange on you.
Thank you.
Last time you had yellow on.
Yeah, I like colorful.
And it's much more vibrant in person. I, on the other hand, am morbid. I'm always in black. I don't know what that says about me. But nonetheless, San Diego, we appreciate you. Jennifer Flannery of River Escrow, my go-to girl. Any of you that I do decide to work with, when we go into escrow, she is my girl. She will ensure a smooth and easy transaction, provided I continue to communicate with her.
That's right.
Right?
And I think you got that down, girl.
I love to talk. I have to shut up every now and again. Sometimes I find myself talking to myself. I'm like, please stop. Just stop. San Diego, we love you. Peace out.